The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And thank you for staying up late with us here on The Factor Uncensored. We have a great program for you, and we begin with a program that could affect parents all across the country. The mother of a school shooter has been found guilty in court. Now, we have seen the latest convicted of involuntary manslaughter. A Michigan jury found Jennifer Crumbley, the mother of Michigan shooter Ethan Crumbley, guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Here's the moment she heard that verdict.
On count 1 of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count 2 of involuntary manslaughter in regards to Tate Muir, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Now, prosecutors said Jennifer Crumbley, as a mother, was grossly negligent when she did not notify the school that her family had guns at home. School officials said they became concerned when they found the teen drawing violent images in class. Crumbley faces up to 15 years in prison per count. That's a total of 60 years. Tell 26, do you think a jury was right to convict Jennifer Crumbley? A majority has voted yes at 82%, while 18% say it's unfair. Our guests are here to share their thoughts tonight. Joining us now, State Representatives Jolanda Jones and Ron Reynolds, along with parent Crystal Carter and also parent Cody McCubbin. And Cody was also a school board member in Newtown, Connecticut when the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting took place. Glad to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. So Cody, let's have you weigh in on this. Your thoughts. Did this parent get what she deserves, and is this what we need to look at in the future for parents who may ignore their children and the problems that they're having?
I mean, I can tell you right now, do I think it's going to stop it? Probably not. I mean, look, you're going to get to a point where people are just going to forget about this. Look, you always have these parents who tend to be very irresponsible. You know, I think everybody here could agree that all parents tend to be, you will never get rid of that irresponsible element within any human being. So you're getting to the point here. I mean, look, if this teaches anybody anything, lock up your guns. Look, I have guns myself. I have guns in my household. But I have a big safe, and I keep them in it.
This is kind of different, Cody. The parents gave him
Well, yeah,
a
that's
gun,
what I'm saying.
You know, and so if you're giving him or gifting him a gun, they're not going to lock it up because they just gave it to him.
But that's illegal, right? He shouldn't even had it at that age to begin with. You have to be over the age of 21 to have a handgun. So that's, I don't even know how they even thought that was even a rational decision, which goes back to the whole point of
charging parents
and
bad parents.
Right? Yeah.
All right, State Representative Jolanda Jones, your thoughts on this?
So yeah, the jury got it right. 1. 2, they didn't just buy him a gun, they took him to the range to shoot. 3, I think that parents need to be responsible. If you have kids talking about blood everywhere, you have the school calling you the day it happened, he says that he's hearing voices, he's having hallucinations, and he said he can't stop seeing them. Please help me. How you just gonna leave your kid at school, right? Mama seemed to be worried about other stuff other than her child. But nowadays, with social media, where everybody wants to be famous, kids are isolated, their parents aren't spending time with them. It's reasonable to assume if a kid has access to a gun, or they know their parents have guns, and they are violent, and you're giving them weapons, that they could go do a mass shooting. Because in school, people bully you, and kids have to learn how to deal with those things, and parents who don't pay attention to it should get exactly what she got. And you know, the judge could actually stack the sentences. I mean, in my other job, I'm a criminal defense lawyer.
Right. But
they can stack her, so she can get 60 years.
And really quick, for those who don't understand what manslaughter means, explain that to me.
Well, manslaughter is when somebody dies as a result of something negligent
behavior,
as opposed to homicide is where I want to go kill you, and I know I'm gonna kill you, right? But it was reasonable to assume that, because it's not normal for kids to see blood everywhere, to ask you to please help them, please make it stop. So they absolutely, and the husband gonna be convicted when he has his trial, in, I believe in May.
All right, Crystal Carter, your thoughts as a parent watching this case?
Yes, as a parent as well as a school teacher, I feel like the parents have to be held accountable. As Jolanda was saying, I feel like the dad played a part in it as well, if the child lives with both of them. And the mom, she went to the school, She saw that he was drawing the images. She left him at school. She gave no leeway to say, yeah, he has a gun at home. Maybe this is something that we need to look into. Parents have to be responsible for their children, especially at this age. He's not an adult. He lives in the house when they gifted him a gun. It was wrong.
State Representative Ron Reynolds, let's hear from you. Prosecutor said she was more focused on her horses and her extramarital affair instead of her son and his pleas for help.
Well, Isaiah, you putting all the tea out there.
I don't do tea, sir. I only do journalism and news.
I'm agreeing with Crystal and my distinguished colleague, Representative Jones. Look, as parents, we have responsibility. I have children that are in school, and God forbid, if there's red flags, if there's signs that I'm just, willful ignorance, I'm just closing a blind eye, and they go, I've given them a gun, and they go and do something, and I had noticed or I could have done something to prevent it, guess what? I should be held accountable. There has to be some accountability. There has to be some responsibility, and I think the prosecutors got it right. I think the jury got it right. Hopefully this will send a signal to parents about responsible gun ownership, to your original point, but if not, there are going to be consequences to actions. 4 children lost their lives that can never, ever come back. So this doesn't bring them back, but this gives some semblance of justice, accountability. The young man has already been convicted, sentenced to life. I do agree the father will likely meet his mate, and hopefully parents in the future would be more responsible that could potentially save lives.
And Cody, let's go back to you, because you said gun safety, locking the guns up. But do you think parents should be held accountable for their children's behavior in a situation like this, when it's clearly negligent to those who heard her story or heard her evidence in this particular case?
Well, yeah, I mean, at some point, especially when they're minors like this, they have to be responsible, because they're the ones making these decisions at this point, right? But, again, it's what I fear, and this is what it happens, is like these things happen, they're really sensational for maybe about a month, and then everybody forgets and everybody moves on, and they don't kind of realize that there are going to be consequences to your actions. Now, this happened in a different state. I don't know if this is something that would happen in Texas. I don't know if this is the same kind of laws that would apply in other states. But again, look, every time this stuff happens, it's always a child that has very psychotic kind of mental issues every single time. Now, why you would give a gun to a kid who's obviously having those signs of mental issues is beyond me. I don't know why would anybody think that's normal. But, we have to do something about these kids who are obviously having deep mental violent tendencies. And every time I come on the show, I say that. And it seems like we never seem to kind of learn and kind of figure out, like, there has to be a place for these kids. And it can't just be like, we're going to treat you like everybody else and you're going to just be normal and go on, right?
All right, out of time, guys. Still ahead tonight, and thank you for joining us tonight.